everybody, we are live. Welcome to the DST show. We're going to be going over some breaking news. Shocker. Kevin Love of the Cleveland Cavaliers. That's been majority of a tenure over since the LeBron James signing back in 2014. Five-time All-Star, 2016 NBA champion, two-time All-NBA, has signed with the Miami Heat over the trade after All-Star weekend under 24 hours ago. I already see footage popping up over on my IG involving him already training, warming up, and getting shoot-arounds coming around over to the Jets. And he's shooting around in the Miami facility. And also they're pursuing over a contractual signing for Cody Zeller, veteran big and brother to the other Zeller that's currently on the Celtics. I mean, not the Celtics. I think he's on the Clippers now. But I guess this is majorly big. You get a veteran big that's a dual threat from behind the arc that can put the pressure off, especially over getting rid of Dwayne Dedmon over financial compensation over the San Antonio Spurs for a couple $100K. And more additional depth over the center position because Yurtseven Servant doesn't play that many minutes, and we need something to take the edge off over Bam Adebayo. And I guess this was a thing because, of course, the Miami Heat really didn't do anything around the deadline except for Dwayne Dedmon being out of the team for financial compensation. But this is over a buyout, too. So, and most rumors have been questioning the Miami Heat making making more of their on-season moves in the middle of the season over the buyout market, just like Russell Westbrook that's been teasered to go to the Los Angeles Clippers over his buyout of his contract over from the Utah Jazz. And it's most expected that he still wants to stay in Los Angeles, California. So most people were trying to teeter that direction. But I feel like I guess this would be a bigger move, especially if Miami's still trying to contend with someone that has more veteranship, has good keeping relationships with some of the rotation, somebody to learn off of, somebody to get the pressure off and play over with the second unit, especially with Bam Adebayo that's already been an all-star this year. And it says right here, a Kevin Love contract buyout as much as anything else was a symbolic handshake and a genuine thank you for the franchise forever in his debt. Kevin Love, Cavaliers and Love have reached an agreement of a buyout on Saturday, which made him a free agent, able to be signed anywhere in the NBA. And he fell out with the Cavaliers over the rotation entirely, and he hadn't played in a couple weeks. So just as Cavaliers signed over Danny Green. I don't even know if Danny Green's even going to sign over with a contender. Even though the Cavaliers are kind of a contending playoff team, they're already a higher seed than the Miami Heat, around the 4th seed. So there is a major possibility Danny Green is possibly going to get more rotation minutes. Already that the Cavaliers have fallen off of love with Kevin Love, no pun intended, but I feel like this is kind of a step over in the right direction. They got some big depth over getting rid of Dwayne Dedmon. They got Cody Zeller, that's a decent rotation player, and you got a good dual threat veteran big that can play off pick and roll, help with the second unit, and knows his stuff, especially around the postseason like Kevin Love. The only issue, Kevin Love's around his mid-30s. He's only played over 41 games over the past couple minutes. At least he's consistent around a 35% from behind the arc. And his field goal percentage in general, because he doesn't get past the rock that often anymore. And he's around 34 years old, guys. We're going to get as much as we can over with already a veteranship, a key lineup. Literally one of the younger key stars on the Miami Heat is Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. And Bam's like, 27 or 26? And Tyler Hero's around my age. So just put that in perspective as you will. I want to feel like this is a better signee than trying to buy out over on the Westbrook deal, because the big man slots has kind of been a bit thinning over getting rid of Dwayne Dedman. That's kind of been a rotation piece over for rebounding, blocking, hustling over the defensive front. He averages around at least the second most blocks on the team. Sometimes more rebounds than Bam Adebayo when he doesn't produce, because Bam is a lot of. He's good on the defensive front, but he's a good offensive player as well, and that's primarily when we want to use him over when it comes to starting. So, yeah. And Russell Westbrook to the Clippers, playing back with Paul George, actually could be a positive because of his controversial critiques over with the Los Angeles Lakers and falling out over rotation, even though he was producing pretty decently around the second unit when he's moved to, as a 6-man role. But, playing Patrick Beverley and Russell Westbrook over on the backcourt with Thomas Bryant, that barely doesn't even contribute that much over the defensive side. That kind of got better around after the deadline. I'm not going to lie to you. Westbrook, he has his own positives, but I guess it's not that team-oriented, especially around the 6-man rotation like many other point guards around his age, that he still thinks he can play over in the starting rotation after the Clippers got rid of Reggie Jackson via trade, and then he got bought out, and then put over to another rotation piece as now a key contributor on the Denver Nuggets. And now we're going to see that possibly after the buyout with the Utah Jazz Monday afternoon, and plans to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers for a deal. It's still, fringing to contend over to the playoffs, and it's still over in the West Coast where Westbrook resides. So I guess I could see the notion of what Westbrook is trying to do. And especially being over with a contending team over in the West Coast, knowing that even if the Jazz make it to the playoffs, he's not willing to contend over with a small market that are obviously in the rebuilding phase after getting rid of Donovan Mitchell. The Clippers made shockwaves around the NBA today when they reported Adrian Wojnarowski, where they're going to be signing Westbrook after a buyout by the Jazz. The decision has been met with a split reaction by the fans, split reaction by JJ Redick as well. JJ gave a very positive reaction to the new acquisition. Starting Westbrook could help win the playoff series for the Clippers. And this is, I think, a quote over from JJ Redick. I think there's a way that he can impact. There's an impact. I don't know if him playing 30 to 35 minutes a night with Kawhi and Paul George at this point of his career, Redick says. Do I think he's going to make an impact? Yeah. I was actually having a conversation with somebody on Saturday. We were talking about him going to the Clippers. I could see him, especially come playoffs, winning a playoff game where he just comes in. He's a madman running around, grabbing loose balls, grabbing rebounds, taking transition, attacking the rim, 22 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists for 24 minutes. They win a game, turn the series around. After giving Westbrook some praise, Redick gave a brutal, harsh reaction, saying that he's going to be the same exact situation. It's going to be the same exact situation that he had before on the Lakers. So Redick did give a positive remark that, of course, Westbrook has a massive motor and could be a major offensive impact. But you also gotta love that Redick also gives the good with the bad, due to him being an NBA player, and he's seen Russell Westbrook play for a majority of his career. So you got to take JJ's opinion with a grain of salt, knowing that he's watched these players, played against these players, and he knows their strengths and weaknesses as a player. So over the sources of which we can get over the talking heads, take it from the actual source, a guy that actually played against his opponent for several plus years in the league and played in a high level. So Redick is possibly the perfect guy to go off how the Clippers are actually going to intake Westbrook on the lineup. I'm not going to sit here and analyze. It is the same shit. His words, not mine. Redick says He's a guy when we've seen him succeed at later in his career. It's when he's got the ball in his hands, and he's surrounded by shooting, and that's not going to be the case here. To say Westbrook isn't surrounded by shooters is a very interesting statement. Here are the 3-point percentages in the rotation rotation players currently on the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard, 38%. Paul George, 38.2%. Marcus Morris, 38%. Norman Powell, 41.7%. Eric Gordon, that recently was traded from the Houston Rockets, 37.5%. Nicholas Batum, 37.8%. Terrence Mann, 39.2%. That's at least the second highest point percentage over Norman Powell, and Bones Hyland, that's 50%. That's the highest 3-point percentage on the Los Angeles Clippers. They are obviously a 3-point shooting team when necessary, and of course you got ball-dominant on-ball players like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George that can play wonders off the ball. Almost every player on the Clippers is shooting nearly 40% from 3, and it's very bizarre to hear Redick saying shooting will be an issue. The bigger issue for the Clippers is taking away minutes from Terrence Mann, Eric Gordon, and Bones Hyland. By the way, why is that your name? Bones Hyland. Jeez. What a name. But other than that, yes, highly 3-point percentage team that obviously I think their biggest weakness is leads. They can't hold on the leads. They had also a good high shooting percentage over by Luke Kennard that they traded over to the Memphis Grizzlies that has the same issues that Duncan Robinson has, but undersized. And now they got somebody by the name of Eric Gordon that won the 3-point contest around 2018, went to the conference finals before with the Houston Rockets, has a high still high 3-point percentage when he was on the Houston Rockets, but also had an issue with the young core out of the Houston Rockets. Goes over to the Clippers. It's already a way better mandated team, better offensive players, more in depth over the rotation. Even after the deadline, I feel like they had a bit of an upgrade, picking up Eric Gordon, stuffing away turnover machines like Reggie Jackson, and edging out with some veteranship on the lineup, and now getting Westbrook. That's a low 3-point percentage. Spot up, pull up mid-range jumpers off the wazoo, attacks over the fast break. He can hustle for turnovers when necessary. Westbrook doesn't have much of a defensive backbone in his repertoire, as I can keep forcing out long words out of my mouth. Besides that, I don't know if Westbrook can transition, because I feel like Westbrook is way better with bigs on his team than he is playing over a small ball, kick out and shoot offense like the Clippers do. Because the only notable player on the Clippers is Ante Zubac that plays over in the 5, or not Cody Zeller. Who did the Clippers trade? I know he came from the Hornets. Mason Plumlee. So they got good pick and roll monsters that can rebound, finish off the rim that he can transition with. And plus, you got Norman Powell that's been showing out in certain games, especially against the New York Knicks, where he posterized on Julius Randle. Besides that, he very good in-depth team. I don't know if we're going to get further information on the contractual information on Westbrook, but yeah, Kevin Love to the Miami Heat and Westbrook to the Clippers is pretty interesting. That's all I want to say. I hope you guys enjoyed All-Star Weekend. Sadly, I didn't want to cover it because I already know it was going to just be a high-scoring mess for the All-Star game. Dunk contest, Mac McClung won it, shockingly. Didn't even know if he was guaranteed a contract, but he was guaranteed a trophy. Damian Lillard won the 3-point contest. I forgot who won the skills competition. I really don't care about the skills competition. They had they had the Antetokounmpo brothers, but they didn't have one of the best skill players in the NBA out of Jalen Brunson. That makes total sense. We had Thanasis Antetokounmpo make it, but not freaking Jalen Brunson that's been putting up 40-point games has been the major reason why the Knicks are not relevant and in the playoff hunt. I don't get that. Besides that, I hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. Enjoy the rest of the night. That's it from the DST show. Like, comment, subscribe for more. I'm going to take my Tylenol.